Caroga. Qapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Caroga. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. Falsehood, important things are needed to people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's gonna be under one roof. You're gonna run it like a business. That means you're gonna make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Caroga.
Ah. Hello world, it's Bird O' Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to BedLife, and certainly not my annual nose cleaning for September 6th, 2021. We're all good. We're all good. Richie Poole was first in the chat and said, "Dear Sop," then "Dear Mop," and "Dear Nop," and said, "Okay, I will settle for Dear Bop." Well, that's good, Richie, because Sis O'Prey and Nephew O'Prey did not come by this weekend. I'm not sure if we'll see them next weekend or not. Mom O'Prey is here, but she's not in the house at the moment. She's outside with Sassy. Not Ryan Johnson says hello in Qapla. Hail Caroga. Hail Caroga, not Ryan Johnson. And he said, "Will Bird be sleeping and show up to his stream late? Stay tuned to find out." No, I wasn't. I don't think I was late. Star Trek Nitpickers is happy Labor Day, Qapla. Yes, today is Monday, Labor Day. I forget that the people who actually have jobs, a lot of you had today off. Although if you had retail jobs, you didn't. But if you had office jobs, you had it off. Of course, a lot of people had today off because they don't have work because of a pandemic or other reasons. And we'll get through some news stories a little later. I tell you what also happened on this day. Way back in 1522, man, that's only a couple of decades after Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Magellan's, not Magellan himself, because Magellan died in the Philippines, but one of the 5 ships he set sail with, the Victoria, was the only ship of his And with only 22 crew aboard of the over 150 that originally set sail, to make it back to Spain, being the first known humans to circumnavigate the globe. Way back in 1522, they sailed across the Atlantic, spent way too much time looking for a way through Brazil, finally made it around what is that? What is called now the Straits of Magellan, around the southern tip of Argentina, into the Pacific Ocean, which they found amazingly tranquil. It didn't have to be, they just got lucky. So they named it Pacific, which was Latin for tranquil. Then they made it up to the Philippines, where the Philippines were like, hey, yo, since we converted to Christianity, would you mind fighting this neighboring tribe for us? And I guess Magellan felt like, yeah, they should do him a solid. And then Magellan got hit with a poison dart, and his crew left him behind. We don't know if he could have been saved or not. His crew was like, oh shit, he got hit with this dart. Too late. We can't carry him. We'll all die. They left Magellan behind, and there were still two ships. There were still two ships at that point. One ship said, well, we're going back to Spain. And yeah, the other ship said, well, we're going to Spain also. Well, Victoria said, well, we're gotta be closer to Spain if we keep going, west, if we keep going west. And the other ship, I don't forget the name, was like, well, I don't know how far west Spain is, but we know how far it is if we go back east. And so the other ship decided to go east all the way back across the Pacific, back across the Atlantic, and hopefully make it to Spain. The Victoria sailed east, made it to around Africa, and was in waters they at least knew about. And then they sailed up the river and made it back to Spain. The other ship was lost, never heard from again. Can only presume it probably never made it out of the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, crazy stuff. It's weird. Yeah, first humans to circumnavigate the globe made it home on this day in 1522. And no, they did not have an easy journey. Even they made it to the Pacific Ocean. That was relatively quiet sailing. They completely ran out of food, and they were just eating their leather goods, soaking their leather belts and shoes and shit in water just to try and get some type of protein or whatever off the leather to sustain them. And there were people deserting. There were what's that called when you fight against your captain? Michael Burnham did it. Got mutiny. There was mutinies, there was desertion, there was all this stuff. And yeah, it was crazy stuff. But some people made it, which is all the more crazy if you ask me. In the year 1522, to think on wooden ships, probably smaller than a yacht, of today, certainly smaller than a yacht of today, made it around the entire planet. It took a year, but they did it. Anyway. Star Trek Nitpickers, yes, says Happy Labor Day. Thank you again. Star Trek Nitpickers. And Richie Poole says, do the Carogan miners celebrate Labor Day? No, Richie, we don't explain to them what Labor Day is. It's not necessary. It doesn't, it's not required teaching. Labor Day doesn't actually help anybody. Professor Brainy Specs, Qapla, says that not Ryan Johnson says, no, Bird is watching Crystal Skull. He just pretends to be sleeping so he won't get caught watching his favorite movie again without us. Not Ryan Johnson says, Richie Poole, miners don't know the definition of labor or most other words. They don't have access to a dictionary. That's pretty much true. John Aragi says, if Bird doesn't have the energy, maybe Life with Matthew can step in and run this. Qapla, John Araki. And Life with Matthew has some serious questions to answer for his belief that Star Trek V is a better movie than Star Trek 4, 2, and 6, unless those were lies. Professor Brainy Specs says, John Araki, Life with Matthew, he doesn't do his streams half the time. John Araki lolls. And John Araki says, Bird needs a sidekick. Yosef is pretty close, but the time difference. Not Ryan Johnson says, Professor Brainy Specs, that Bird of Prey just loves his crystal skull. Richie Poole says, Nephew of Prey would make an excellent sidekick until the day he unseats Bird of Prey as leader of Caroga. Nephew of Prey wouldn't sit is the problem. He's very, very active. He needs to be on the move constantly, like a shark. Professor Brainy Specs is not Ryan Johnson. Yeah, we know. We still love him, though. Thank you. Richie Poole says Crystal Skull is awesome. Bird of Prey just won't admit it. Annual Crystal Skull for Bird. And 54.5 Access Radio puts in hashtag annual Crystal Skull for Bird using hashtags. Professor Brainy Specs is greetings to Access Radio. And also to Richie Poole says, yes, Crystal Skull is totally awesome. Bird just wants to hoard it for himself. Richie Poole says, I think Bird should share his undying love for Crystal Skull with all of us on an annual basis at least. Resolute Germ says, hi all, Qapla Resolute. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. And John DeMarco says, greetings to everyone. Greetings, John. 47 Yorktown says, hello, youngster. Hello, 47 Yorktown. Richie Poole says, Bird of Prey, didn't your mom ever tell you not to play with scissors? I wasn't playing with them. I was operating. Woods and Pictures says, more, Sir Captain Tom Moore. Oops, that was supposed to go in private chat. No problem, Woods and Pictures. Welcome to the stream. Resolute Germ says, trying to pluck out your eye, Bird of Prey. Must have been watching STD again. I was nothing. Don't worry about it, Bird of Prey. Woods and Pictures says, good evening to Bird of Prey. Good evening. Richie Poole says, Bird of Prey, always point the business end of a pair of scissors away from your eyes, not towards your eyes. You remind me of Michael Burnham. I was trimming some nose hairs. The Random Menace is greetings from the future. No Labor Day today, no pregnancy either. Well, I think you'll take that as a good sign Professor Brainy Specs is bird of prey. I have the day off, not because I have an office job, but I do, and not because of the pandemic, and not because of a holiday, but because I have Mondays off. Well, good for you, Professor. John DeMarco says Magellan's big mistake was using a Carogan crew. That was not an entirely Carogan crew. Professor Brainy Specs says greetings to the future. From the future. No, greetings to the future, says Professor Brainy Specs to the Random Menace. Richie Pools is bird of prey. Did Magellan's ship run into the ice wall south of Argentina, thus saving them from falling off the edge of the flat earth? I don't know, Richie Poole, what the flat earth position is on Magellan's voyage. You should find somebody and ask. Pflugerville says Qapla, Pflugerville. People saying hello to each other. Professor Brainy Specs is bird of prey. Need to talk to you about something interesting. Okay, Professor. Well, you know how to get a hold of me. Nitbigger says maybe they're with Amelia Earhart. And yes, mutiny. Thank you, guys. They did a Burnham. Mutiny, says Star Trek Nitpickers. Arabic Sonder Qapla Arabic. Pflugerville says bird is sleep streaming again. I'm not sleep streaming. I'm wide awake. I'm a little tired, but I'm awake. Arabic says, hail the professor. Dave G. Sounds says Qapla, bird of prey. Qapla to all. Yes, Qapla to all. John DeMarco says bird of prey. To be fair to Matthew, he said 5 was more better than 4, 3, and 1. But he didn't mention 2 or 6. I think 4 should be up there, but that's not as bad as what I heard. Professor Brainy Specs says bird of prey. I just said Life with Matthew thinks Star Trek V is par for the TOS films and is better than The Voyage Home. He does not believe Wrath of Khan and Undiscovered Country are better than 5. Okay. No, he does believe. I think he meant to write he does not believe. Carlo says, hi, hope everyone is as well as can be. Hail Caroga, Carlo. Jedi Bill says, hello, bird of prey, Qapla, brother warrior. Hail Caroga, Jedi Bill. Good to see you. Carlos says, Wrath of Khan has to be the best film for Star Trek. The emotional journey we go through. Jedi Bill says, hello, Carlo, Qapla, brother warrior. Hail Caroga. Fluger says, hey to Jedi. Everybody saying hello to Jedi. And Dave G. Sound and Jedi Bill. And good. So, there is some other things of interest I wanted to go through in the recent news. Okay. Now, we got the Magellan story, which I already told you the details about. That was 1522, September 6th. Also on this day, some tennis stars sought political asylum. There was also a Russian pilot who flew to Japan. He won political asylum too. President McKinley got shot in 1901 on this day. And in 1997, 2.5 billion TV viewers watched Princess Diana's funeral. It was 1997. To me, it feels way older. Considering 1999 feels like yesterday, 1997 feels like a lifetime ago. It's weird how that works. Just 2 years difference. Professor Brainy Specs is Bird of Prey, but Matthew believes Final Frontier is better than Voyage Home. That I don't agree with, Professor, but if he's the only one he believes is better than 5 of 2, 4, and 6, I can get it. And he says, no, Matthew does believe Wrath of Khan and Undiscovered Country are better than Final Frontier. So he does believe 2 and 6 are better than 5, just that 5 is better than 4. I disagree, but I can live with that amount of freedom, okay? Now, if he thought all the others were better, if he thought 5 was better than 2, 4, and 6, that would be beyond ridiculous. But we can deal with just 1. Okay, so the first look at the Star Trek Voyager documentary is out. There's a trailer. It basically just shows various Star Trek Voyager cast members and guest stars and people who worked on the series in the back, all being interviewed. Surprisingly, in here is Armin Shimmerman, and he is in here because he played Quark. The only reason he is there is because of his fame, and Quark had a tiny role at the beginning of Star Trek Voyager. In the very first episode, Quark tried to sell Harry Kim something, and Tom Paris stopped it from happening. So he's got a role in the documentary, and apparently he's like, why am I even here? They're like, well, because you played that tiny role at the beginning. So he's in it. But more interesting than Quark being in it is Andy Robinson is in it for some reason. Now, Andy Robinson played Garrick on DS9. I don't remember him playing anything on Voyager. Maybe he did. If you guys remember, maybe he played a character on Voyager, but I don't remember Garrick being in Voyager at all. So, like, why would they have Andy Robinson in this documentary other than the hope that he was the best part of the DS9 documentary, at least the best still alive, and they were just going to get some love of Andy Robinson fans. But the thing about it is they took so long to do the DS9 documentary that I can't honestly believe this Voyager documentary is going to be finished anytime soon. They claim it'll be done in a year or 2, but I really, really don't believe that. Professor Brainy Specs says, don't you remember Garrick got into a scheme with Quark to sell the coordinates of ships to the caretaker? No, I don't. And John DeMarco says Andy Robinson directed a few episodes of Voyager. There we go, John DeMarco. That makes sense. Okay. That would at least give him some reason for being there. Of course, the story didn't bother to tell us that. So if you guys are looking forward to the documentary, you can search the Voyager documentary To the Journey to the journey. It's available on YouTube. It's a 3-minute trailer. We've got an internet apocalypse possibly coming. And basically, as you guys do know about, and I believe somebody had brought this up, but the possibility of a solar storm hitting the Earth has been something we've known about for over 100 years. We know in the I think it was the 80s, in 1988 or something, it caused a blackout of the province of Quebec in Canada. And in the 1800s, a solar storm caused telegraph wires to just catch fire and burn. Now, we've been upgrading our grid since, so our electric grid might survive a solar storm. It might not. But more importantly, our internet communications. While many of our big wires that go across the oceans are fiber optic, so they won't allow a surge to go through them, they need repeaters every few hundred miles to boost or amplify the signal. Now, those wires are copper, and apparently they are susceptible to the voltages that would be induced if we were hit by a big solar storm. So if the repeaters die on a fiber optic line, that would basically kill the fiber optic connection between the various continents. And so imagine if the United States became disconnected from Europe and Asia. What would that do to our internet? It would create a big problem. And this is a paper. It's yet to be peer reviewed, but a paper on it, and it's some scary stuff, because it's not when we'll get another solar storm / coronal mass ejection. It's not if, it's when. And the when might be any day. We have 13 hours. Generally, we have about 13 hours of notice from the satellites that we have near the sun. Because they'll send us pictures back at the speed of light, but the coronal mass ejection doesn't travel at the speed of light. So it takes, instead of taking 7 minutes to get here, it'll take 13 hours. So we have 13 hours of heads up before a giant mass ejection hits us. That's enough to let the electrical grid, to turn off the electrical grid if need be, but not enough to possibly stop internet communication. And even if we did, turning off the internet for even a day would cost billions and billions of dollars. Not to mention, God knows what it would do to the economy and panic and everything else. Richie Pools is Bird of Prey. I think the internet apocalypse happened this morning when LDG posed as a woman on his channel. Creepy. Yeah, Richie, I heard about that. Jedi Bill says, that was me, Bird of Prey. I was talking about it. Yes, that was you, Jedi Bill. So I found it. I was looking for it and I found it. Okay, some bad news for us YouTubers. TikTok, officially. TikTok overtakes YouTube for average watch time in the US and the UK. If you needed more proof. People are getting stupider by the moment. It is now too hard, too much to concentrate on a 5 to 10 minute YouTube video. The 60-second TikTok is overtaking YouTube for average time being watched. Now, if you read the article, it's not quite as bad as the headline makes it seem yet. Overall, YouTube still gets more watch time. However, on a per capita basis, people are watching more TikTok. The only saving grace is that there are more people who have YouTube than TikTok at the moment. If the bases were the same size, TikTok would be winning in all departments. So, yeah, I don't know. Is YouTube a dying brand? Maybe. It's certainly not great. That's the new battleground, says Dave G. Richie Poole says it's official. The internet makes people stupider. It does seem that way. Resolute says that's okay. TikTok viewers have no brains and less money. And Carlos says that TikTok is hypnotic. I was easily able to give up the TikTok. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, so another. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but if there was no bad news, there'd be no news at all. In India, authorities race to contain a deadly Nipah virus outbreak. And Nipah? What the hell is the Nipah virus? The Nipah virus is not related to the coronavirus, but it's far more deadly. And unfortunately, it's killed a 12-year-old. The boy was admitted to hospital a week ago with high fever. Doctors suspected inflammation of his brain, and his samples were sent to National Institute of Virology, where tests confirmed the Nipah infection. Government authorities stepped up their contact tracing efforts, identifying, quarantining, and testing people who may have come into contact with the young victim, according to the state's health minister. 188 people who came into contact with the boy had been identified by Monday. Of them, 20 were considered high-risk primary contacts, primarily his family members who were being held under strict quarantine or hospitalized. 2 healthcare workers who came into contact with the victim were already showing symptoms of the Nipah infection and were admitted to a hospital. Authorities sealed off an area within a 2-mile radius of the boy's home and were screening for symptoms in the adjoining state. This is the second time in 3 years the Nipah virus outbreak has been reported in Kerala, India, which is also reeling from a high rate of COVID-19 infections. Like coronavirus, Nipah is a zoonotic virus, or one that is transmitted from animals to humans. Transmissions generally occur when humans come into direct contact with the animals or through contaminated food, but a high number of human-to-human cases have been reported. Fruit bats of the family Patradae, commonly known as the flying fox, are natural carriers of Nipah, are known to transmit the virus to other animals. including pigs, dogs, cats, goats, horses, and sheep. God damn it, it's another bat virus. How many more viruses do we need before we decide we need to eliminate all the bats? Okay, I know it is an overreaction perhaps, but it's us or them, people. And I think we should just do it. Okay, put our ability to make a species go extinct, our natural ability, use it for once for good. Okay, and I'm sorry if you love bats, but guess what? They're out to kill us. If not with rabies, then with COVID or Nipah or whatever the next goddamn bat-borne virus is going to be. I say we get them first. And I say Caroga shall move to completely destroy all bats within the state of Caroga, the nation state of Caroga, and I suggest all other nations do the same. Professor Brainy Specs is bird of prey, the C12 variant, new coronavirus strain, highest mutation rate yet, study says. Nitpicker says we have a TikTok joke in the upcoming USS New York. Very cool. Professor Brainy Specs is bird of prey. Fear the day Project Prometheus comes online. Richie Poole says, yeah. Star Trek Nitpicker says, as a Batman fan, I must protest. Nobody's saying we have to give it to Batman, just the bats. Super Blubberpuss has killed the monkeys too. Well, let's start with the bats. We'll worry about the monkeys later. Dave G says if you kill the bats, the skeeters will transmit it. Nitpicker says bats are so delicious, bird. No. And nobody calls bats chicken of the cave. That was just a joke in Anchorman 2. Will Tyler, Qapla Will, says still waiting on your rise back to power. Thank you, Will. The bees and then the bats. That's what we got to get. The bees and then the bats. Let's see. Anything new up for me? Let's see. After 6 months on Mars, NASA's tiny copter is still flying high. Oh, good. Tess Laura, Mark, Lore, and Blark Ingel. Are those words? Unveil plans for 5 million person city in the American desert 6 hours ago. We already have cities in the desert. This luxury space balloon lets you glide 100,000 feet above Earth with a cocktail in hand. Really? Robert Beltran tried to get fired from Voyager. Chakotay? As Star Trek Voyager entered its 4th season, and Jerry Ryan took a prominent place aboard the ship as the former Borg drone 7 of 9, stories for other characters became smaller. For a while, getting 7 acclimated to the ship, many storylines focused on her and reintroduction to humanity. that left little room for further development of characters who had been with the series from the beginning. A fact Robert Beltran didn't appreciate. According to What Culture, the actor who portrayed Commander Chakotay decided they no longer wanted to be with the series. To that end, he intended to get the producers to remove him from Voyager with a simple plan. Just keep asking for more and more money each season until they deemed him not worth the price he was asking. That didn't happen. Paramount kept Robert Beltran aboard the ship. Fortunately, Paramount had the deep pockets needed to meet Beltran's demands and keep him as part of the series until the very end. Though his role was diminished on Voyager, Chakotay was a solid character that Captain Janeway and other crew members needed. In fact, he was instrumental in breakthrough B'Elanna Torres's Wall of Grief in the season 5 episode Extreme Risk. In addition, in the 7th season episode Shattered, which Chakotay has to guide Captain Janeway through a time-separated ship in order to realign Voyager in her time, proved to be one of the best time travel episodes in Star Trek. Wow. Interesting. I don't know. See, this is kind of stuff that actors come up with after the fact. I'm not saying it's not true, but I hard time believing it. Americans emailed Pence officials asking to remove Trump from office. I'm sure they did. It doesn't mean anything. Why Netflix drama is the best 9/11 movie to date? Why Netflix drama Worth is the best 9/11 movie to date? Huh. De Blasio draws ire from locals while touring Ida damage in Woodside, Queens. I don't understand. Listen, I blamed de Blasio as a joke. There's a lot of things I blame the mayor for. I don't know that I can blame him for the rain. That's crazy. Stunning image shows dark tendrils masking giant Centaurus, a galaxy near Earth. When will the Delta surge end? Not for a long time. Mystery woman struts through airport wearing only a bikini and mask. Okay, I'll click on it. Where's this mystery woman? If it's LDG, I'm going to destroy something. Okay. A shocking clip has gone viral after a woman nonchalantly strutting through an airport. I mean, I don't, it's not exactly. Okay, whatever. An anonymous blonde woman set passenger shaming site aflame after she was filmed strolling through a U.S. airport in nothing but a bikini and her face mask. An Instagram video of her runway modeling stint has garnered nearly 10,000 views. 10,000 views? So the fuck what? When you have a pool party at noon and a Spirit Airlines flight to catch at 4 p.m., reads the caption. Indeed, the shocking footage features a mysterious mischief maker walking nonchalantly through the terminal of an unnamed airport. Well, why don't we know the name of the airport? However, while her itsy bitsy teeny weeny airport attire may have left little to the imagination, she was still wearing a face mask in compliance with federal aviation mandates. My God. It's yet unclear if the bikini-clad bombshell had actually boarded an airplane. Yeah, I have a hard time thinking she actually got on a plane looking like that. She's clearly carrying stuff with her, so she might have just gone into a bathroom and put something on. And I don't know if that guy is walking with her or just walking near her. Anyway, let's check. Let's check what's going on with the comments. Oh, Mark Hamill goes viral after Star Wars actor tweets his own name. The Force is with him. Mark Hamill proves theory. Tweeting his name will get over 1,000 likes. Oh, cord cutters just lost their best free way to watch broadcast TV. Yeah, I had this. This really pissed me off. Cord cutters loved Locast, a nonprofit service that enabled folks in markets around the country to stream local channels, including ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC for free. Unsurprisingly, those four networks, plus parent companies Disney, NBC, and Universal, were behind the lawsuit that jointly sued Locast into suspending service on Thursday, September 2nd. In a statement on its site, Locast noted as a nonprofit, Locast was designed from the very beginning to operate in accordance with local letter of the law, strict letter of the law. But in response to court recent rulings, which we respectfully disagree, we are hereby suspending operations effective immediately. Yeah, that was after they first sent an email saying that they were going to keep operating and to please donate to them. This is an annoyance for all who don't want to pay for cable, especially Sling TV customers who only got Fox and NBC with Sling Blue. Sling had been offering and promoting its free Locast integration as recently as earlier this week, but it's gone now. One of the best HD antennas can help you pull in a decent stream, but your mileage may vary. Not all residences have great access to signals. Yeah, I'd have to put an antenna on my roof. My antenna in the house bugs out every time a train passes. Sling is continuing to offer another way with the Air 2 TV for streaming local channels, connected an HD antenna, or Air TV Anywhere also requires an antenna. Sling offers package deals for both its Air TV. Yeah, no. What went wrong with Locast? Locast, debuting in 2019, attempted to succeed where a network rebroadcaster, Arrow, failed. Arrow was a great one. Its trick, while it thought that being a nonprofit would shield it, the service would later pull a Wikipedia, often interrupting streams to ask for $5 donations. That matters because the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, ruled that the networks, because the donations weren't just used to support operating costs. The ruling reads, since portions of user payments fund low-cost expansions, its charges exceeded those necessary to defray the actual and reasonable cost of maintaining and operating secondary transmission service, which is the only exemption granted in Section 111A5. That's bullshit. Well, somebody should just take it over and they can just do the not have to expand it, but whatever. It's so ridiculous that companies that we grant, we give them for free a portion of the public airwaves for which to transmit their signal for absolutely free, that we should have to pay to get those signals rebroadcast on cable or internet. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't get to charge people for it. By definition, if you're a broadcast network, you're giving your signal away for free. If somebody's offering to retransmit that signal, you should thank them. You shouldn't be able to stop them from doing it. You're not losing, okay? And you shouldn't be able to get money from cable companies. Now, unless the cable companies are putting their own commercials in which case then I understand it. But if the cable company just will air your original broadcast with your commercials, they shouldn't have to pay a dime. That's what it needs to be. Anyway, whatever. Let's see. Move that. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I had to get that set up. Richie Poole says in 5,000 years, bats will be intelligent and humans will be pooping in caves. That's probably true. Resolute Germs says, you talked me into it, Bird of Prey. I'll get the flamethrowers. Those bats will look nice flying around on fire. No. Resolute, you got to wait until the government okays it. I don't want anybody going out and doing anything to the bats until we get the okay. And damned animals, we should eradicate them all, says Yitza. Their days are numbered. Super Blubberbutt says, please don't read the clickbait. Oh, that wasn't clickbait. I mean, that's a legit thing with the antennas. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we've got any Dear Bops. We have one Dear Bop. One Dear Bop. That's, we can live with that. We can work with that. This will be a short Dear Bop. Let's see what happens. Do you think it's a good one? Dear Great Leader, Caroga Minor 501 here. Again, the only doctor we have down here got scared when he saw my ass. He said I shouldn't be eating the uranium. I didn't know this. He said I might die unless I get poop out all the uranium. How can I get it out? Okay, so it wasn't a good one. Oh well. Yeah. Like basically, I hesitate to even respond so as not to promote nonsense like this. Um, but suffice to say, eat plenty of fiber and you'll be okay. Now, you know, what source of fiber is there in the uranium mines? Um, I'm sure you can find some, grass. It tends to grow around the outside of the mine. If you just get up there and just I know it doesn't taste good and there's no nutritional value, and some of it's been pushed down by, tires of heavy mining vehicles, but just eat some grass and that'll help clear you out. Oh, we got a second Dear Bob. Dear Bob every effing time. UPS. Yeah, that's okay. We don't need any quick Dear Bops, so that's it for Dear Bops for today. Moxley fans is Qapla bird. I hope you and the family are doing well today. Thank you, Moxley. We're holding in. Super Blubberpuss says, I meant the attention whore at the airport was clickbait. Well, it wasn't clickbait. Nitpicker says, the guy whose jaws felt so bad about shark fillings after the movie came out and he became a shark conservationalist. Professor Brainy Specs says, what? Only one Dear Bob? What the heck? It's okay, Professor. I'm very happy to know no one needs assistance this week. Yid says this new generation of Dear Bop writers isn't what it used to be. Professor says, how did this happen? Carlos says, vine is full of fiber, but also radioactive. Vine of root is full of fiber. I don't know what vine of root is. I've never heard of it, and I wouldn't suggest you ingest it. Okay, so let's do a bird of prey story since we've got some time. A bird of prey story. What would be a good bird of prey story? See, I've pretty much told so many. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've told this one before, but if I have, I think it was just once. So, in my old job, I was basically in the charge of creating a new rum for my company at the time called Qapla. And it was an electronic bottle. And I told you guys about it. It would light up and play music. And in fact, I'm sure I can find a picture of it. Oh, we got one more Dear Bob. No, I'm not giving people a minute because you're still typing. Don't rush Dear Bops. This isn't about rushing. That's not what Dear Bop is about. Qapla rum. Yeah. So there it is. So this was the bottle, and it would light up and play music if you picked it up. So Oh, thanks, Mama Pray. Yeah, yeah. We had so that was you see the label, it's like lit in one corner. Each corner would light up and play music. Anyway, we charged $50, $49.99. Well, we didn't charge $49.99. It was priced so that the suggested MSRP would be $49.99 at most liquor stores. But understand, as the importer, Mama Pray had the real deal. Unopened bottle, number 393, batch AC2. Unfortunately, the battery since died on this bottle. Otherwise, you can see the electronics are in the bottom here, and there's a speaker. Anyway, you would lift it up and it would play music. So anyway, the MSRP was $49.99. Now, reality wise, that was because of the electronics. If there wasn't electronics, this MSRP probably would have been $29.99. This was not long after Grey Goose had become a big thing, and one of the Grey Goose vodka. And one of the reasons we figured Grey Goose was a hit was because it was expensive. And like people were paying ultra premium prices for ultra premium products. So that was the logic. Anyway, I mean, I was the engineer who basically got the electronics set up, but I also ended up becoming what we'd have called today the brand manager. As then I also got the responsibility for doing the front label, the back label, getting the glass, getting the cork, the wood the cork goes onto, the sticker that goes over the top, this plastic that you had to heat to seal it over, setting up a thing in Barbados so that people could actually manually sign each bottle, and all these different things. I mean, the glass came from Germany, the cork came from Portugal, the wood and assembly of the electronics took place in Mexico. The electronics themselves came from China. The label, I forget where the label was, but it was this whole, it was like 5 different continents were involved in the creation of this bottle, and I had my hands in all of it. Anyway, the point is, on every bottle, it has imported by Sidney Frank Importing Company, Inc., New Rochelle, New York. Now, if you Googled that, you would get that the Sidney Frank Importing Company was located at 20 Cedar Street, New Rochelle, New York. It was our offices. They were corporate offices. There was no safe there. There was no money there. There were no sales being made out of that office. It was a corporate office. People would go there. They would go to their desks. They would do their jobs. They would have meetings, and we'd go home. Sales took place in liquor stores, and we didn't sell to liquor stores. By law, we're not allowed to sell to liquor stores. or to bars. We have to sell to wholesalers. Wholesalers can then sell to retailers. So we don't get $50 a bottle. We got like $20 a bottle. Then the wholesaler, they upped it by like, I don't know, half the price, like $15. And then the retailer, they upped it by another 15. And, hell, if you're in a bar, they might be getting $100 a bottle by the time they sold it out. Point is, we didn't make $50 a bottle, even though it's what it sold for. Well, for the first time in the history of the company that anybody ever remembered, a customer came to the office and was not happy with their bottle of Qapla rum. Now, the receptionist is the person who's at the front door. Now, this person made it past building security. Now, I don't know if the building security guy let them up or he wasn't at his desk, because building security often would just take breaks and just leave the building. So the guy made it past the building security, came up the elevator to the second floor, which was, and there was it said in the lobby, Sidney Frank Importing, second floor. So they made it up to the second floor. The receptionist let them in the main door, fine. And they tell the receptionist, I'm not happy with this bottle of Qapla rum I just bought. I want a refund. So if you're the receptionist and somebody comes to you and says, I want a refund, and number one, we don't offer refunds. Number two, we have no process in place for even doing a refund if we wanted to give a refund, which we don't. What would you do as the receptionist? I tell you, if I was the receptionist, I would have called our building security. Now, this was our office security, We had 2 office security members in the office at all times. One was a retired New York City cop, and the other was a retired FBI assistant director. Either one of them would have been more than capable of coming down and saying, I'm sorry, we don't offer refunds. You get a refund, go to the store you bought it at, and if they don't offer it, I'm sorry, you can mail, I don't know what, but basically you're shit out of luck. Either of those would have been the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do was I'll call Joe DiBiase. Yeah, I'll call Joe. And that's what the receptionist did. Now, I love the receptionist. She's great. Don't get me wrong. But I got a call at my desk a little bit after lunch, if I recall. And they're like, Joe, somebody's here to see you. Somebody's here to see me? I mean, it could have been anything. So I go, yeah, you could take the bottle back. And could you bring that book? The book you brought yesterday? So, somebody's here to see me. So I go. No idea what I'm getting into. And I see a rather large, angry man with his wife. Now, I'm a rather large man myself, so it didn't particularly faze me, but it was noticeable. And he says, I want a refund. I was like, what do you mean you want a refund? He's like, this rum, it's not worth $50. And it's opened and he wants me to taste it. And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking in a open bottle. God knows what's in it. I was like, I'm not, and I was like, no, thank you. I was like, I don't want any, sir. He's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, I want a refund. This rum is not worth $50. And I look at the receptionist and I'm like, really? Why would you call me? I was like, sir, I don't know what you want. We don't have, I was like, look around. This isn't a business. This isn't a store. This isn't a shop. We don't sell anything. We don't have. And I took out my wallet because I knew I hadn't gone to the ATM that day. I was like, I think I had $20 in my wallet, and that was it. I took out, I was like, sir, I was like, I don't know what you want. I was like, look around. This isn't a business. We don't have slot machines. We don't have cash registers. We don't have a way to give you a refund. I took out my wallet. I was like, I only have $20 on me. I was like, I was like, that's money I need to get home today. I was like, we don't process refunds here. And he's starting to get angrier. He's like, well, this rum isn't worth $50. I was like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I was like, I said, maybe there was a problem with that bottle. I was like, we did have plenty of other alcohol and plenty of extra bottles of rum. I was like, I could exchange it and give you a different bottle if you want. He's like, no, it'd probably be the same. I'm like, well, it probably will. I was like, well, would you want some? We had our other brands. I was like, I give you a bottle of Grey Goose vodka or a bottle of something else or 2 bottles, whatever. Do you want something else? I can exchange it, I guess, for a different brand. And he's like, no, I want my money back. Well, at that point, I was like, well, sir, I don't know what to tell you. Even if I had money on me, I can't give that to you. I was like, I explained, like, listen, guy, we don't make $50 from the bottle. We're the importer. I was like, we're making $20 from that bottle. 15 is going to the wholesaler. And then the store that bought it at, they're throwing another 15 on top of that. That's where the $50 comes from. So, I mean, even if we were to do a refund, which we can't, we certainly aren't going to refund $50. I was like, the only person who might get you $50 would be the person who sold you that bottle. And we went back and forth like this, like 4 or 5 times. All of this at the front desk, mind you, because I sure as hell wasn't taking him in the back any further. Meanwhile, I hadn't noticed, but people had started gathering around the back because the receptionist had a wall, but behind the receptionist was a bunch of other offices and cubicles. And like 20 people had gathered because they all wanted to hear how this was going to happen and what was going to happen, because to them, this was the most drama they had ever seen go on at work. I didn't know any of this was happening until it was over. So finally, after the 5th or 6th time when I insisted there's just not going to be a refund, the guy took his bottle back and left, very unhappy. And I looked at the receptionist. I'm like, what? Why would you call me? And she's like, I didn't know who else to call. I was like, whatever. And then I go around the corner and there's these like 20 people all staring and like laughing. And smiling. I was like, what are you guys like? Well, we wanted to know what was going to go on. We've never seen that happen before. Great. Yeah. You guys were all so helpful. I know that didn't sound as interesting now that I said it out loud, but trust me, if you were there, it was crazy. I was not, again, I was 20 something, 23 years old. This was my first job. I was only a year and a half into it, maybe 2 years into the job, and wasn't expecting things like this to happen. Carlo Albanese says, Bird of Prey, what are your thoughts on the starship Elon Musk is building? Do you believe this is the beginning of the future of space travel? Starship, the big one? I mean, the one that's already flying? I don't understand. He's already got some ship, the Starship One. Do I believe it's the beginning? No, the beginning was in the 1950s. This is just the continuation. Frankly, we're still way behind. We are still way behind. We never had anything to replace the space shuttle, and that was an epic disaster on the part of our government. We should never have retired the space shuttle without a replacement. The fact that we are only now, a decade plus later, able to send humans into space on US built rockets is a shame. And even that, we can't really do it regularly yet. We are way behind. Way behind. Professor Brainy Specs says once, Dear Bop. Richie Poole says, Bird of Prey, rum bottles that light up and with sound. Wow, that's real classy. Listen, it wasn't my idea. That's what my boss wanted. Richie Poole says, Bird of Prey, Hallmark keepsake may be interested in your rum bottle. Derek McManus says, have a like. Thank you, Derek. Tabasco scenario. Hey, Bird. Hey, Basco. Captain Trax says, Bird of Prey just came by to say hi. Hello, Captain. Richie Poole says, when in doubt, call Joe. You should take it as a compliment. Yeah, basically. And Professor Brainy Specs says, Bird of Prey, it's like retiring the ISS without a replacement. Indeed. John Araki says, Bird of Prey 5, Emperor, YouTube sensation, customer service expert, trifecta. Now, rule of acquisition 195, Richie Poole says, throw Joe under the bus. So, do you guys know what this is? No? Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. The restored Klingon version. This is a first edition of Hamlet in Klingon by the Klingon Language Institute from 1996. Mamo Prey found it. I knew I had it. It is also, like the rum, hand numbered, restored to the original Klingon by Nick Nicholas and Andrew Strader, edited by Mark Scholson with assistance from Will Martin and Darmold Spears. Hamlet, Prince of Denmark by William Shakespeare. And here's statement of limitation. This edition of the restored Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, the restored Klingon version, is limited to 1,026 copies. 26 were specially bound and lettered from the, I don't know how to pronounce this, I guess 1 to 26 in the Pakat, the Klingon alphabet. The remaining 1,000 copies were individually numbered by hand. All have been Smith-sewn, case-bound, and printed on acid-free recycled 60-pound paper. This copy, number 363. And there's the hand numbering there. And it's got the English on this side and the Klingon on this side. And yeah. So I bought this in 1996 as soon as they came off the presses. 363 out of 1,026. I'm pretty happy with it. Hopefully it lasts. I was so afraid it was in the garage and got wet. Luckily it did not. Luckily it did not. Super Blubberpuss's Bird of Prey. We are a lot more advanced in the space program than they are telling us. I hope so, Super Blubberpuss. Jedi Bill says it's a gray book. It's more than a gray book. Jedi Bill loves the rum. No, the pages don't stick together. Professor Brainy Speck says, "Oh, General Bird of Prey, read it to us in the native Klingon." I wish I could, Professor. I wish I could. Okay. We got 2 Dear Bops. Let's do those. Dear Bop, please explain how to convert a WAV file to MP4. It would be very helpful. Well, a WAV file is an audio file and an MP4 is a video file. So you wouldn't convert a WAV to MP4. You might convert a WAV to MP3, which is also an audio file. One of the easiest ways would be to download. I mean, if you Google WAV to MP3 converter, that would do it. The one I use, though, is called Ocean Audio. Ocean Audio. It's free. If you Google that, it's a free download. It can open WAV files and it can save them as MP3 files. So that's one way of doing it. There are certainly quicker ways, but that would be my suggestion. Qapla, Tim Christ. I'm not going to be performing Hamlet, Richie Poole. I'm sorry. Now, once you have it as an MP3, if you wanted it as an MP4, you would then drop the MP3 file into a video editor, or you could actually put a WAV file directly into a video editor like DaVinci or DaVinci or Adobe Premiere or any video editor. They would take MP3 or WAV files, but an MP4 would just be a black video with the audio. So it'd be a complete waste. I assume you mean MP3. Dear Bob, I'll never know, and neither will you, of the life you don't choose. We'll only know whatever that sister life was. It was important and beautiful and not ours. It was the ghost ship that didn't carry us. There's nothing to do but salute it from the shore. Ghost Caroga. Okay? If you say so, Ghost. If this is inspired by Marvel's What If, I can tell you that I couldn't watch the first episode. I did go back and watch episode 4 of What If because so many people told me episode 4 was so great. But I'm going to tell you this. It was mediocre at best. Don't get me wrong. I like Doctor Strange. He seems to be a pretty cool superhero. But the reality is episode 4 was mediocre at absolute best. It was just the fact that, you can't change some points of the past for reasons that weren't clearly stated. You can't stop somebody from dying because them dying is what causes you to build the time machine to begin with. Well, that's a story as old as time travel itself. That's nothing new there. There's nothing profound. There was absolutely nothing in that story, episode 4, I found worth my half hour to watch. Now, people told me it wasn't bad. I'll grant you, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Okay, the only thing that has going for it was that it wasn't woke garbage. That said, it was just poor writing. It wasn't woke poor writing. It was just general boring poor writing, which is better than most Marvel stuff these days, right? Doctor Strange didn't get his balls kicked in a dozen times. So that was nice. Unlike what happens in the latest Marvel movie, apparently. But that was it. That was really the only thing the episode 4 didn't have was woke garbage. It still just wasn't a very good episode. That's all. I don't think it was particularly deep. Mediocrity is the new rage, says Yitza. Well, it's that we get mediocrity, put in front of us, and all of a sudden we're willing to say, oh my God, this mediocrity is great. It's not great. It's mediocre. And it's fine if you want to say it's mediocre, but please don't tell me that this is a great moment for television, because when I go to watch it and I'm expecting good, and I get mediocre, I'm going to be angry. You need to recognize that what you watched may have not been offensively bad, but it wasn't genuinely good in any way whatsoever. Just because it's not offensively bad doesn't make it ostensibly good. Anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you for hanging out. Tomorrow, Sassy has a vet appointment at 2 to 2:30 p.m. Hopefully all goes well, and I'll be on at my normal time, 4 p.m. If I'm delayed, though, I will let you know. Qapla all, bird out. But wait, there's more. The video might be over, but there's more fun to be had. First, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have clicked that bell icon to get notifications of new videos in your YouTube feed. Share this video on social media to help this channel fight the algorithm that favors big media. Also check out www.birdoprey5.com for links to my other channels, various social media accounts, merch store, Dear Bop affiliate links, and all your Birdo Prey 5 needs. At the main Birdo Prey 5 YouTube channel, you can find all sorts of live streams and unlisted videos, YouTube membership options, and a community section with polls and updates on the channel. On the secondary channel, Birdo Prey 5X, you can find overflow content that doesn't always make the main channel. Subscribe to both channels, please. Thanks for watching. Remember, I stream almost every day. This is Birdo Prey 5 saying goodbye, world. Until next time. P.S. Hail Sassy, hail Charlie, and of course, hail Caroga.